How many versions of yourself did you play today?
21.
In life, we have to wear many hats. As a VTuber and a creator, you have even more. You're a son or daughter, perhaps a sibling, probably a coworker and or a student, a friend, perhaps a significant other. You could be a parent, and as a VTuber, you've taken on the hat of the character, the performer, the business, a video editor, a streamer, an artist, and potentially even more. There comes an invisible cost to switching those hats, or masks, of yourself. These fragmentations of what makes you, you, are increasingly demanding in a world that becomes faster and faster and is constantly evolving. They often leave you grasping for energy by the end of the day and even cause you guilt as you can't bring your VTuber persona to the stream because you've just been feeling extremely drained on some days. Welcome to Your Virtual Identity, the show for VTubers and creators who want more than just numbers on a screen. Here we dive into the real side of content creation, the wins, the struggles, and the mindset that brings clarity when the chaos feels overwhelming. I'm Dog, and every episode is about helping you create with purpose and build something that lasts. Today, you'll be wearing the hat of the listener as we dive into the fragmentation of yourself. Let's imagine you've been making content for at least a year already. Your VTuber persona has already been established by you at this point. It feels normal to put on the mask and go on about with the show. After stream is over, you take off the mask of the live streamer and put on one more befitting of a content creator as you move to make clips or review those with your community to make a post for different platforms. You have to change the way that you think when facing this new task, this other facet of your chosen life. After that's dealt with, you don the mask of a friend as you message your friends to plan something for the weekend. Switching between all of these can feel seamless for some, but it could be that you only had to do each one with sufficient bandwidth. If, for the next hour, I asked you to go very fast with seemingly no connection between tasks, you'll thrip or feel very exhausted by the end if you lock in like an absolute gamer. Try to handle replying to chat, having 3 people in a collab, playing a game that requires a lot of attention, and deal with your pet spinnings in circles around your room. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. This might seem silly to consider this a problem worthy of attention, but most of the time this phenomena happens naturally, and some people wonder why they are breaking under the pressure. If you've heard of the spoons analogy, you might be able to understand this very easily. For those unsure about what it means, it's not about being the little spoon or the big spoon. Let's picture all the tasks you have to do in a day as spoons. You might have 4 spoons, or 12 spoons, depending on your predilection. Each spoon can be attributed to one task. Some big tasks might require more than one. If you're unfamiliar with a task, it will require more spoons, maybe more than 2. And the amount you can be influenced by a lot of things like sleep, eating properly, your mood that day, and problems that are beyond your ability to handle, like a flood inside of your communal building. What exactly can one do to lessen the slow erosion of your energy? Limiting the amount of mask you need to wear overall is one of the multiple options you have. To that effort, you can cut altogether some things that you deem to be of a lower value. An example would be to stop doing live 2D if you know that this is not going to be an avenue you see yourself doing long term, and it was only to give yourself a model because you don't have much of a budget for a higher quality. You got free-to-use models or moderately priced models you can get in this day and age, which we did not used to have back in my days. There's obviously some tasks you will have no choice but to do eventually. You have the ability to batch tasks together of that type. We all know about tax season, and we all wait until it is all possible to be done within a day because people be afraid of numbers. By attributing a single day to the doing of that task, we eliminate distractions, we focus on just one thing, and despite our low skills towards them, we get it done. The mask of tax season comes once a year, but some people make finances their job, so it comes even more naturally for some of us. This leads into the next option you have, which is to seek people with experience to do the task you want done. This requires money, obviously, but this is why we commission art, music, video edits, and other services when it comes to content creation. You trust a plumber, an electrician, and other services you know less of. If you care about a job well done, Well, consider seeking someone with experience and obtain their services rather than walking an arduous trail that you could just skip. What about when a mask you wear often ends up not feeling right anymore? I'm talking about your VTuber persona or the style you use to edit video, your humor, or maybe you want to be more real with your relationship. The first step is to realize that you're unhappy with the way things are. So if you were wondering about that already,
Congratulations!
you're already on step one. Working with a mask that feels heavy and doesn't reflect your vision anymore might lead you to burnout. At first, you did it as a way to express yourself, and as you keep going forward, you feel like you need to edit out parts of yourself. You might think about what your audience feels about these new jokes, which are not what they've seen before. Being misaligned is a poison that will affect you emotionally. Everything will not feel right. It's a mental tax. You'll have to edit out and plan a lot of things that don't feel natural anymore. It will make you feel like doing VTubing has some extra resilience into it that it didn't used to have. You can't talk about a certain topic, or you need to pivot because you can't dive into them past a certain growth level. You'll know you're properly misaligned when you spend almost as much time doing than you do thinking and blocking your own way. To properly cleanse that weight, you will need to do some real introspection on what you want to be now and the things you want to shed away. You're constantly evolving, and so should the individual parts of yourself. Make an effort to write down all the things that you do that makes you feel off. This will let you isolate those feelings into something more concrete. The same way that if you never write down ideas, you'll struggle recalling them or enacting on them. The way you note them doesn't matter so much. That you shouldn't do any of the others, so feel free to do voice messages. They work just as fine as it would be to type them on your phone in a note-taking app or to physically write them down on paper. Pen to paper is the one that shows better in recall, but the results aren't so drastic that you should stop yourself from doing something to find a pen and paper, versus doing what is easiest to record it down. After you've gone through all the bad elements, I want you to picture what it is that you want to become on the other side. What kind of action does that ideal person that you want to be makes, and what makes them the way they are? Find and note those down. They'll be your beacons that you should follow to become more of what you think is aligned with your true self under that mask. You need to learn to let go of this shell and exfoliate yourself. At first, some of the masks can make you feel empowered, but it's important to remember they are not the end destination. You control where you go. Just gotta look for the signs in what feels like a stormy sea. We visited the internal crisis that happens when we lose track of the natural process that happens when we wear multiple masks to represent ourselves and live by. Changing so often not only erode our energy reserves, it also brings the potential for errors and overwhelm. Look within at all of the masks you wear during a normal week and take a moment to think. Do they all bring you closer to the goal that you have about your ideal self and the future that you wanted to build towards? I might be annoying at this point, but write all of them down. Then after all of them are listed, I want you to rank them where they stand between you and your goals from 1 to 10. 1 being an active impairment, and 10 being what moves you towards your goal. As an extra challenge, you are not allowed to put any 7. Why? Well, you can learn in a previous episode called No Sevens Allowed why that's the case. Your many masks are not meant to divide you into a mess. They should walk towards the same North Star, and everything has a cost, even inaction. After you've seen what moves you away from your goal and what is the best for you, start taking action to either remove those masks or limit the time that you need to harness them. Your future self will thank you. It's hard to take action to make the little things will hurt us not enough to warrant a drastic change, but just enough that they are a detriment. If you live your entire life enduring the storm, you'll have nothing left worthwhile at the end but your old ways. Believe in yourself. Be the best you that you can be. And join our Discord. The link will be in the description. And with this trace that I leave in my wake, it was that a dog, and I'll see you out there, Wanderers.